For those of us who were fascinated by the adventures of Daryl and her friends at Enid Blyton's Malory Towers, we include cheerful spiffing news story. The renowned writer's Success Landing High School episode is Creature done in a phase act by Emma Reese, no less than. The ex-art CEO of Shakespeare's Ball will be take her Shaw on a round of the UK this summer. Reese telephone call Malory Towers her lucky Lord of the Flies, description it as happily drastic to its bones. So why the durable circulation of landing schools in movie, fictitious and theater? Anna Blacksmith, movie reviewer, announcer and army of the podcasting girls on movie, says it's partially downward to the intensive environmental. All history in a confined installation, particularly while all sleeps on website, has the prospect for improved AMD and stress, if it's a high school, a jail, or a inn, of stroke of midnight feasts to illegal crochet UPS to contraband to intimidation, all these do for large AMD. And fictitious landing schools can ensure and flee for youthful moviegoers and readers, of Chamomile pulls it off to Tom Tan's high school days and Farewell Mr. Shavings. It's just nature how family will fantasize on flee and, comparatively, freelance residing, yet lucky their household lives. I assume just family or those in quite remotely locations, as I was, might discover the concept appeals more than. Not all landing high school experiences are as fun in actual lifetime as we might think them to be, and Blacksmith suggests down there's a nostalgia item how draws us into the imagination release of such a institutions. It's perhaps more than to do in the books we recite while we were youthful, love Malory Towers, how introduced a iridescent release of fact. I miracle if Enid Blyton's guys had a superior or worst period at landing high school rather than their peer pressure on the web page. Blyton's daughters went to the landing high school how encouraged Malory Towers, Benenden High School, as did Duchess Anne. But Alex Anschurl, drafting CEO for Enid Blyton at Hachette Family's team, has a various view. I don't believe we're just using landing high school stories for nostalgia reasons. Down there is thing really appealing on the force of friendships how can increase among family while they dwell along, particularly if they must trust on every some while cladding brutality or frustration or challenge. Which so lot readers loving on the Malory Towers books, or Enid Blyton's some landing high school episode, St. Clairess and the Naughtiest Lady, is how the school students paint along in a close bind, fond, personality governing society. For Reese, focus on the story of a girl's only landing high school done her estimate her own mom's expertise of formation and the main feminist in the storylines. I don't aware how they Reese's my grandparents controlled it on a rail employees pay in, but my mom was shipped to a remotely grammarian high school in Dorset, Lord Digby's high school for girls until not a landing high school. Lord Digby's was an emergency location of training how modified my mom's or, by expansion, my own lifetime. She says her adapt of Malory Towers is devoted to the general of female who learned in schools in the ramifications of Planet War II. This at first Malory Towers volume was published in 1946. In lives profiled by the wildness of two wars, these teaching staff dedicated by themselves to the formation and educate of some female. Malory Towers was spelled at the cardiac of the policy coup, and embodies a goodness, expect and loving of lifetime how knocks my socks away. Really, the Malory Towers chief tutor Mississippi Umber one day told she requested the girls of Malory Towers to be female the planet can rely at. But of year, it's not all coup, lacrosse and penny confection, down there are more dark tales on landing schools in both of volume and on movie. Love Joan Lindsay's Roman outing at Suspended Fate, as well done in a movie and TV episode, and Roald Gibbs' autobiographic Little Boy. Blacksmith explains, down there was a proper landing high school AMD movie named Cracks in 2009 by Jordan Scott, relying on Sheila Culler's Roman, that conducted a dim type of the establishment and casts Eva Verdant as a sexually carnivorous high school hostess noted by her own infancy. But is down there yet scale for landing high school films in the contemporary planet, position Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling's event is perhaps a law to by itself although, and Blacksmith thinks the style may include to develop. Down there's an evident grade dimension to landing high school, that the tries to address by possessing a work-grade character. And in its own path, Harry Potter addresses how, too much. I don't believe very chic landing high school stories would act as so on movie these days, that is why I would be concerned to see how Malory Towers updates the history for the phase. But Anstrel thinks down there's yet chamber for such a story's present, landing high school gives a named scope for a history. It's a very nice problem to job out how letter will include their adventures and surmount danger during the limits of how scope. Or for readers, of year, it's really satisfactory to see sympathetic letter come of brutality and ultimately flee it. And Blacksmith has one desire for Reese's forthcoming draft in Associate in Bristol Old Victory allows expect the Malory Towers has an LGBTQ+ storyline. Malory Towers opening on July 25 at the Occupant Barn in Bristol up Tourism the UK.